The hat worn by Brian in this video is provided by masongearshop.com. Welcome to the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where we talk all things Freemasons while drinking an old fashioned. I'm Brian, and yes, the backdrop looks a little bit different because we're in Mexico. But when in Mexico, what do we need to do? We talk about Shaquille O'Neal. Why? Because the big cactus, the big Aristotle, the big nasty is also known as the big Hiram Abiff. Why? Because he was made a Mason in one day while he was with the Boston Celtics. You may know Shaq for his dunks.
Then as Scott was starting, Bowie was coming off the bench as O'Neal follows and almost and does bring down the entire backboard.
That's one we haven't seen.
O'Neal puts it on the floor and stops, and he brought it down. He brought the whole goal down.
Goodness.
He brought the whole thing down.
Oh, it broke off right on the fringe there, on the hinge there.
Unbelievable.
Oh, man.
He's done.
But did you know of Shaq's financial endeavors? He's one of the most successful professional athletes of all time. He has ties with the Ring Doorbell, but he'll also tell you a little bit later in this episode of a story about how he missed an episode or an opportunity with Starbucks. He talks a lot about how much he lost money on that deal. Stay tuned for some of highlights not only from Shaq's career, but about how he shares some of his successes and failures. We hope you like this little sneak peek into the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast and Shaquille O'Neal. Stay with us.
You've had a lot of great business deals. One of your biggest business regrets, Starbucks and Howard Schultz.
Worst.
Tell the story.
So my agent calls me up and he says, Howard Schultz wants to do business with you. And I'm like, coffee. Because growing up in my household, never seen a black person drink coffee. So it was my thought process that black people didn't drink coffee.
And by the way, I loved your autobiography, and
Yes,
I was literally laughing out loud as you told the story.
I never seen a black person drink coffee, so I was like, we always used to see the commercials, fill it to the rim with brim. We used to see the commercial, but in my house it was always sweet tea, hot chocolate. I never seen a person, so I thought I didn't drink coffee. So anyway, Howard says, Shaq, I want to give you the opportunity to go in with me and open up these Starbucks franchises in African American communities. And I'm always a guy that, if I don't believe in it, can't do it. Will never do it. No amount of money can make me endorse something that I'm not 100% behind. So I looked at great Howard Schultz's face and said, black people don't drink coffee, sir. I don't think it's gonna work. And you should have seen his face. He was like, all right. And, we're still good friends today, but that was one of my worst business decisions. Because now every time, on every corner, in every city, in every country, I see a Starbucks, I'm like, oh. And then Magic came and did the deal after me, and he just did great with it.
So you have, how many kids?
6.
6 kids?
Yes.
And you have rules for them?
Yes.
What are they?
Well, my most famous rule is, in order to touch any of my cheese, you have to present me 2 degrees. You know what that means?
No. I don't know what any of that means.
Okay. Cheese means money.
Money?
So their father's very successful. So as a father, I'm not going to give them handouts.
Right.
They have to get a bachelor's and a master's. And then I will...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so...
That, 2 degrees.
Yeah, 2 degrees to get any of my cheese. Yes.
So they're not in the will unless they get 2 degrees.
Exactly.
Good for you. That's really smart.
Thank you for watching the Old Fashioned Masonic Podcast, where real Freemasons talk Freemasonry. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Shaquille O'Neal, the Freemason, the athlete, and the entrepreneur. As a reminder, the hat worn in this video by Brian was provided by masongearshop.com.